Well, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and good evening, and thank you so much for joining me this Saturday night, the 15th of the 7th, and welcome to the show tonight. My topic is going to be simply, it's going to be, my topic is going to be politics in Jamaica today. Politics in Jamaica today. And of course, it is spelled incorrectly, which is so terrible. But anyway, that will be rectified by the time I start the show. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome and thank you so much for joining Talking Sip this Saturday night. Those on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and all over. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's a Saturday evening. Today in the UK, it has been, what should I say? Uh, it's wet, slightly wet, and slightly, what should I say, windy. And I took it today without listening to the news and to do some incinerator, some burning some lots of papers. We're so packed in with so many papers these last days. Everything is now, what should I say, um, paperless. Offices are paperless. Everywhere is paperless. But I think a lot of us have so many papers around, and if you shred it, unfortunately, you have to go to the guys when they are doing the rubbish and say to them, "Can they take it?" Because there's not enough space. So what do? Just burn it. Burn it with the incinerator. But of course, you got to stand and watch it just to make sure that there is no bushfire or anything like that. Um, before I go any further, this Saturday night, um, this is Talk and Sip, and it'd be great to find out what you are drinking tonight. And as usual, I like to drink my water. I don't know what you plan to drink, but get some sparkling water as well. And the concept is to have a salt drink. Whatever you're drinking, try to find something to drink and let me know what you're drinking as well as every Saturday night. And also, I'll get a bottle of wine as well, a Merlot. I used to work with one of these companies one time many years ago, specialize in wines and you know, red wine. I tend to like red wine, which is my favorite, and not gonna have too much. Here we are. That's much I'm gonna have even tonight. Yeah, that's the that's the wine. And I hope to have a very interesting discussion today. As I said, but the topic which I put forth tonight and in discussion was politics in Jamaica today. Politics in Jamaica today. But also, I have to touch on the UK side, whereby it is now deemed that migrants are the ones who are now going to pay for the increases. The increases that the government, the 5 to 7% increase, which the government is now going to be giving to the public sector workers. Public sector workers in the UK, 5 to 7% increase over 1 million or so, right? And the big question was to the Prime Minister, where are you going to get the money from? And he said, we're going to get it from the migrants. There's a thing which is called a surcharge, ladies and gentlemen. And the surcharge is because when persons come to the UK, they have not contributed to the NHS, the National Health Service. And as a result of that, so there's a fee which is attached to the visas when they're making the applications. And therefore, I think people's, 500, 600 or so. Well, the Prime Minister said, we're going to get the money from migrants. We're going to get the money from all the people that is coming to the UK. So here we go again. The the Windrush, the foreigners are actually sustaining the UK. Welcome, Michelle. How are you? Peace, balance, and wellness, and Silburn on the live. Thank you. And for those on Instagram as well, what you can do. You can actually, if you want to, you can go over onto the YouTube channel, which is Silburn TV, and you can check it out. You can share the live as well, because what I do is open up the Instagram and you can also joining as well. I want to pay my respect and condolences to Adam Stewart's wife. Um, I got news today. I don't know her, but Adam Stewart is in the news. Adam Stewart, the son of Butch Stewart, and recently he just put a tweet out that his wife passed away. So I just want to pay my respect to him, because a good friend of mine also worked closely with him as well, Mr. Stewart. And yeah, if I can find it, if I can find the tweet here, uh, Adam Stewart. It's always sad when someone loses your family. And what he said, it is almost unimaginable, unimaginable that it has come to this, still with unbearable grief. And his wife, who passed away. Hey D, how are you? Um, let you know that my wife, Jill, the love of my life, my best friend of 28 years and mother of our three wonderful children, passed away peacefully and surrounded by love. So my condolences to Mr. Stewart and to his family, to his children, and may she rest in peace. And also may all the persons, all the people who have died, especially those tr- tragically, that they will somehow, um, what should I say, that they will find peace, and the families of persons who have passed away and died, those who have not had any closure, that somehow they will have some sort of closure as well. D, how are you? Hope you're well, and had a good break or so, which is fantastic. But yeah, but going back to the UK, and I'm just gonna try to see if I can play a video, because this is very interesting to what is happening in the UK here. Uh, that the cost, yeah, and here it is. If I can find it here. Uh, You're standing up in front of. Okay, here we go. Great, back on the jump. Awesome. Video file.
Pledged to halve inflation, but minister after minister has refused to say what that means, what the actual target will be. Is it 5%, 5.35%, 5.5%? Can you today level with people and just say exactly what that target is, so we know what metric to judge you by?
I think that everyone can see what inflation was when I made that announcement I made the announcement in January, and we had the numbers, I think, for December last year. But look, do I think that everyone sitting at home is focusing on whether inflation goes down to 5.2, 5.4, 5.3? No, I don't. Actually, what I think they want to know is that the government is committed to easing the burden on their cost of living. And that is my priority, and halving inflation is the most important step we have to doing that. And I want to do that over the course of this year. Clearly, that's become more challenging. Everyone can see that in the numbers, but that doesn't mean it wasn't the right thing to say. I am ambitious for our country. When I set those targets or priorities, lots of people said, "Well, that's all going to be too easy. You said all these things that you're going to easily meet." That was what people said. I didn't believe that. I thought it would be tough. But I thought it was the right thing to do, because that's the way that we can bring maximum benefit to people's families up and down the country. And we're going to absolutely stick to the course. That's why today's decision is important. As I said, it wouldn't have been right to accept these pay offers and then fund them with borrowing. That would have been the easy thing for me to do. Wouldn't have involved me having to put fees up everywhere else on visa fees or immigration health surcharge. Wouldn't have involved, detailed work trying to find savings and reprioritisation from elsewhere. Would have been easy, but it would have been wrong. It wouldn't have been the responsible thing to do for the country, because I'm determined to bring inflation down, and I'm confident that we will do so. And halving inflation is just a staging post, because inflation belongs back where it should be at 2%. Right? So, this is a journey to get it down there, but that was the first step on the journey. But people should be left in no doubt about my resolve to deliver on it. Perfect. Thank you very much for your time.
You may be wondering why I brought that video in, and that I brought it in because the inflation is now at 5%, and the Prime Minister says he's going to bring it down to 2%. The real video I wanted to bring in was when the question was asked to the Prime Minister as to the 5 to 7%, which is going to be given to the public sector workers over 1 million. The question was asked, where is going to get the money from? And the money is going to come from is immigrants, migrants, right? This thing which is called the surge tax, right? The surge tax. And this surge bit is come from the NHS for persons who want to use the NHS or not, regulars or citizens in the UK, because you're not paying taxes. And I think, in a way, in my discussion with different persons, that there need to be some sort of solution in regards to the the crisis of migrants in the UK. There's also a solution which is asked by many Jamaicans as well, which I realized was that in the Haitians are actually coming to Jamaica, and recently they a boatload of them came to Jamaica, and I think there's a big issue about them going back. Migration is something which is a phenomenon which is going to be happening left, right, and center and continuously. As to how it's going to be resolved, one do not know. It's going to be resolved totally. Sometimes one wonder if you should just have a borderless state at the same time. But the thing I was thinking about was this, and talking about from the Caribbean, Jamaicans, and people wanting to come to the UK, have people also considered the cost, or they weigh up the opportunity cost? I understand teachers, or some teachers, want to come to the UK, but when they weigh up all the different fees, it's like it's not actually worth it, uh, to a certain extent. Or some of them wait up and actually say it's worth it in the long run. The question you got to ask yourself now is that, is immigration an attractive venture? Is the UK trying to make the immigration unattractive, whereby, you know if the amount of, what should I say, the money which is to be paid for the public sector workers, the increase is going to come from migrants, then therefore there's a need for migrants, isn't it? The need for migrants, than in comparison to make it unattractive. So what they're doing is more than likely making it attractive, because what the prime minister said is that, I don't think it is fair, is what it is. I don't think it is fair for persons, taxpayers, to be funding these new increases. I don't think it is fair to be funding these new increases. That's what he said. And therefore, as a result of that, what I'm going to do is increase the surcharge, increase the visa applications, and also try to see how we can get money from all the different departments, and to try to make it break even. And the other bit which we're talking about, and I'm using from the UK perspective at the same time, is that every time somehow there's this influx or money has come into the system, then the Bank of England governor will say there's too much money in the system, and what we got to do, I tell you what we're going to do. We will have to, is what I say, we will have to somehow, you know, cut the purchasing power and put some pressure on. And as a result of that, we are going to increase the interest rate. Well, somehow that has not happened as yet. But if it happens again, many people are going to feel terrible about it, because guess what? Your mortgage is going to go up. And as I was discussing with my two colleagues the other day, the Bank of England governor maybe has lost his way, and somehow we think that that may be the case there. So that's it. Another thing also which I want to flag up is that my high school, which is York Castle High School, which is in Brownstown. A friend of mine, my neighbor, sent me something from Jamaica, because at present, and I don't have the link. They said, vote for York Castle. There's a 1 million for the top school, please. Send to other Yorkists. If you want to actually support York Castle High School, you know, 1 million for the top school, please. What they said. Where is it? There it is. Vote for your school. There it is. Vote for your school. Um, and the link is also there if people want to vote for their school and vote for York Castle. One can do that, and I can also find the link and show the link as well. You know, I was walking in the park over the couple days, and in my walk and talk motivational moments, one of the beautiful things is that my mind is open to a lot of things which surround. They said their senses come alive. There's a lady I met one time. I think she said she was hospitalized and she wasn't able to walk around. And as a result, her senses come alive, whereby she started to see more, started to hear more, and started to do other things which you would normally do. And when I was thinking about in the park, to a certain extent, I said to myself, "Hang on a second. All of these things that we're paying for, wouldn't one say that this is something which is free? Air, of course, people are paying for air because they pay for a tire. That's free, natural. Water, people are paying for water. That's supposed to be natural, free. People are paying for light. I mean, in the daylight, there's light. This is just bright. It's free. And then, waboom, some birds just flew past me. And as those birds flew past me, it dawned on me to a certain extent that yes, they may be trying to somehow get some food to eat. And maybe they are trying to somewhat survive. And even if they're trying to survive, but are they living or are they surviving? And many people, I believe, in a certain extent, are not living but surviving. But the birds at the same time, and the butterfly which I saw, and the insects, they're all somewhat fighting, or I wouldn't say fighting, but they're trying to get something for themselves. And they're actually, you know, going to kill something, or the bird's going to go for the worms and go for the caterpillar or whatever like that. But at the same time, that is how they operate, right? That is how they live, and that is how they substantiate themselves. And therefore, a lot of the things that we are actually, fighting for, the other things that we are paying for, really and truly, is it not free? You know, it's all free. Free stuff that we have been having for a long time. Food chain. Ashrak's a food chain. Now, I brought up this topic here, politics in Jamaica. Politics in Jamaica. And I don't know why I brought it up, but I was watching some developments back home there, and I can see it's like there's a election is in the air. I don't know if anybody can see that or anybody can say that. Election is in the air. I can see Mark Golin. They're going around. Why are they going around? Well, maybe it's important to go around so they can actually get to meet the people, get to actually touch flesh, actually sell yourself. Because many people are actually saying that, and I don't know if it's many people because I do not have the polls or so. Many people say they want to get rid of the present regime. But is that so? Now, the prime minister is now out and about and is like, take off the shirt, put on a t-shirt, and seem like ready to rumble. Ready to rumble. And it's like these things which were being talked about for a while, which is the what should I say? The salaries. Are people talking about that still? Anybody can answer that? Are people talking about salaries? Anyone talking about the increase? I know Advocacy Network is still on the case, but are people still talking about it? One cannot say it's a 9-day wonder because it's still going on. So I mean, so 9-day wonder is not there unless it's a 21-day wonder or something like that. Ready to deceive. It's not going to happen again. What's not going to happen again? Tell me what's going to happen again. And you wonder in a way that the present regime may somewhat find themselves back in power. What do you think? Find themselves back in power. But if they are doing something, and if what they're doing is right. Isn't should that not be highlighted? The houses, the roads. Also, the whole issue regarding the constitutional reform. How is that happening? Is that happening? Constitutional reform. It was something which was very big, and it is something which is happening in the UK here now. There's a talk about three. There are going to be three events in the UK, which they're thinking about, which I mentioned ago. One is going to be in Bristol, one going to be in Birmingham, and one going to be in London. Okay, there are going to be three events talking about the diaspora engaging with the whole process regarding Jamaica becoming a republic. And I was speaking to a Trinidadian, and she was saying it is surprising how Jamaica is still not a republic. It is interesting how Jamaica, of all the places, still have sworn allegiance to the king. And it's going on for a long time. And they find it very strange. Trinidad has been a republic for a while. You know, houses and roads are not to be used as a ploy. We pay taxes. Houses and roads should not be used as a ploy. Should people use roads to say that there have been achievement? Yeah? Is it? Tell me. Roads are important. You know, there are some MPs or some councillors rather, who recently resigned from the People's National Party, and you wonder sometimes if the People's National Party is preparing themselves to lose an election, which they are slated to win. What can I say? Should I say it is more for them to win? The UK is also poised for election. I believe when you look at the video here, and I played
Pledged to halve inflation. Minister after minister has refused to say what that means, what the actual target will be. Is it?
I turn it down, and I wait for Rishi Sunak, the camera to point at Rishi Sunak, and you see something right behind him. What is behind Rishi Sunak? There it is. Let me just pause it for a second. Our priorities: halve inflation, grow the economy, reduce debt, cut waiting lists, stop the boats. So right there, I believe one could say maybe are those the 5 key manifesto pledges leading up to the next election. Our priorities: halve inflation, grow the economy, reduce debt, cut waiting lists, stop the boats. I'm not too sure what is Mr. What's his name? Keir Starmer is. I'm not too sure what the Labour Party in the UK is. I'm not sure what the thingy there is. The Labour Party is. But one thing you can see right there from Rishi Sunak is that somehow he has set the stage and he's ready for an election because he said, we're going to do this. I believe election is in the footing for the UK. Election is on the footing for Jamaica as well. What do you say? You know? And what are the manifestos? Is Jamaica, ready for a change of leadership? I've noticed a few times that the People's National Party, and someone made this observation very, very keenly, and the observation was that you're not seeing divisions. Let me take this off. You're not seeing divisions in the Labour Party, but you're seeing divisions in the People's National Party, right? And I believe very strongly in politics. I believe there's a thing which is there's no seat which is unwinnable, even in the UK. There's nowhere which is unwinnable. Yet at the same time, one can understand that based on the figures, it may deem to be unwinnable. I believe that persons must somehow try to reach the hearts and the soul of the people. Reaching the hearts and the soul of the people. Division and unease are in both. Well, based on the figures and based on the what are you talking about on the stream? What are you talking about? I'm talking about on this stream Jamaican politics and UK politics at the same time. That's what it is about. It's Talk and Sip Saturday night, whereby you need to come on and you need to have a drink. Ladies and gentlemen, have a drink. Tell me what you're drinking, and we have a conversation. Talk about things. I use Jamaica as the punchline to get things going, but at the same time, if you got a topic, you want to speak on something, as long as it fits within the framework of this, you know. Politics is something which is very crucial and key. Good evening, Twin. Politics is something which is crucial and key for everyone. Would you agree? Would you agree? Politics is crucial because it's like the oiling mechanism that gets things going. It boils blood and make people angry. Even some, they will kill each other for it. But it's the oiling mechanism that gets things going. You know, get things going or not going. Someone said it gets it. I say get things going, or someone said not going. That's correct. But it's going really, because not going means to say that if one do not engage with the process, then definitely nothing is gonna go. You have to engage for it to go, you know. And I'm very excited. I'm very excited about the next what should I say? The next year or so when the elections are called. Elections for Oh, from Ukraine. Okay. How is Ukraine? How is Zelensky? Are you happy with how things are? Do you think that Zelensky should have actually conceded a bit earlier? Well, not conceded a bit earlier. He has not conceded, but somehow to I don't know. I'm in two minds with the Ukraine issue. Two minds in the sense that preserving life is so important, but at the same time, preserving a nation is also crucial and important as well. Sometimes you survive today and fight tomorrow, you know. And for the lives lost, one will say, was it worth it, or is it worth it? But I'm not the one to actually tell Ukrainians how to live. I'm only the one that can actually support Ukrainians to survive and to live, and to move away from the survival mode to the living mode. But therefore, one country needs to get within the framework of things. Joining NATO, you agree? Joining NATO, is that a good move? Yeah. NATO has postponed Ukraine's entry. Well, there it is. I'd wanted the Ukrainian to respond to that. Yeah. Some are saying that if Ukrainian join NATO, then it's going to be worse. We're looking to see a possible war. Do we want a war? Things have gone up. Oil has gone up. Rice has gone up. grains have gone up as a result of the war or the feud with Zelensky and Putin, Ukraine and Russia. It's difficult to say Ukraine and Russia because many Russians do not support it. Yeah, many Russians do not support it. But I think most Ukraine, but I would say that most Ukrainians support their minister, their prime minister, their president rather, Mr. Zelensky. And Mr. Zelensky has moved from just being, what should I say, a comedian or a movie star into the hearts of people as a force to be reckoned with. A war which Mr. Putin believed was going to finish early, but it's still continuing and progressing. They say they're in a war right now, and accepting them would be a sign of outward war. They say they are in a war now, and accepting them would be a sign of outward war on Putin. Yeah. Has Russia, in a sense, unleashed all its potentials? Or it's like I see sometimes there's a cat a couple houses from me sometimes, and cheeky bugger sometimes will bring a rat maybe in the yard or so like that and playing with it. He's playing with him before he kills him. I don't know if he even killed him, but he's playing with the rat at the same time. And is Mr. Putin playing with Ukraine? I'd like to hear from the Ukrainian, if anything. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome again. Saturday night, talk and sip, and and here we go. Okay, Bella Del Caf, how are you, sir? Esther, how are you? As I said, what I'm talking about is so where are you from exactly? UK? Yes, I'm in the UK. I'm in Rishi Sunak. Yeah, Rishi Sunak, the key man. Yeah, Rishi Sunak, Boris Johnson, who supports Ukrainian as well. Yeah. That's very crucial. It's very important. There's a guy named Chris Eubank. Chris Eubank is a what should I say? He's a boxer in the UK, and his son named Chris Eubank as well. And then all of a sudden, there's a Chris Eubank playing tennis as well. There must be families, isn't it? There could be family. The Eubanks, Chris Eubanks. I'm simply the best. Simply the best, ladies and gentlemen. Simply the best. Yeah. There's a recent incident which I saw in Jamaica, and I was watching Andre Stevens. I was watching his show the other day. I like to listen to Andre Stevens because that show somewhat give me a quick synopsis of Jamaica for those in the diaspora. Sometimes we just want a quick synopsis of Jamaica. We don't want a long drag out thing. I just want a quick synopsis. And I got a quick synopsis on a particular issue. And there was an issue regarding the power of social media, the power of persons who are out there doing blogs, the power of people actually believing that they're voiceless. And then by becoming voiceless, somehow they feel like, they have nothing they can do. But then with the advent of social media, the advent of bloggers, it makes a big difference. Because according to a video which he has, apparently this child who is handicapped was supposed to go to a particular school. And because she's handicapped, they say she's got to go to another school. I don't know the full story, so I can't, have a go at the principal or so. And I don't know if it was as a result of the show, Andre Stevens' show, Partner Jaw. But what was very interesting was the fact that after the mother came on the program and the mother been speaking about it, the school has now said that they're going to, fix the place, get the barriers, get the railings, get the ramp in order for this young girl to go to the school, which I believe, which I believe is crucial. You know, do you have a degree in any field? I have a degree in Jamaica, man. I have a degree in Jamaica. No, I'm a lawyer. Yeah, I have a degree in Jamaica. Anything Jamaica, straight out of Oche. You know. But anyway, the young child actually is now going to go to um the school which she wanted to go to instead of the school which somehow they were actually sending her to. You know, it's politically incorrect to say handicap is physically challenged. See, handicap, physically challenged. You know, that's the thing with this world we're living in now. You know, we all have to be so politically correct. We can't say certain things that we used to say. In some places, you can't say black, you can't say white. You know, you got to be on your pews. You got to be on your p's and q's. Someone just said a while ago to me, it's politically incorrect to say handicap. It's physically challenged. Yeah, you can't say. Sometimes you can't say certain things anymore. And I believe that's one of the big problem with society. People, thank you so much for Ron. It's a freedom of speech. You know, freedom of speech. You know, I believe that people should. You know, I always say this all a while, and I say it over again. The more people try to censor people. Hi, Alicia, how are you? The more people try to censor people or telling them how to speak, what to speak, and when to speak, I believe it makes us weaker. Totally make us weaker. Because somehow we're not being ourselves. Who determines what is politically correct or incorrect? I ask that question. You know, someone said best just to move and evolve with society, in my opinion. I come back to that point. You know, best just to move and evolve with society, in my opinion. What is it when you evolve in society? I guess we are going to have men winning beauty contest. Well, they say not men, but they were women. They're women because they became men. So women became women, men become women. I'm getting confused now 'cause I don't know. You know, someone was saying, what if someone wakes up um, after being in coma for maybe 100 years or 50 years? What he's gonna say? And people are saying that he's gonna be confused because he won't know whether it's a male or a female. And I'm not going to want to be homophobic or anything, but I'm just actually speaking. You know, who determines what is politically correct or incorrect? Who changed the game? You know, why can't it? Why can't one be original? You know, who changed it? You know, Silver, you say, I know, I don't know who changed it. Who changed it? I try not to be politically correct. You know? I try not to be even woke or so because we get so muddled up. Certain terminologies of course, I must say that certain the oligarch. Who is the oligarchs? People always said oligarchs. Everybody's talking about the oligarchs. Who is the oligarch? Who are the oligarchs? Who are them that change it? I think we got so many boogeymen around. Many people are scared of these boogeymen at the same time. You got one life to live, ladies and gentlemen. One life to live. And if you live it in fear, you're not living at all. You're trying to survive and trying to get. It's like that song said, I saw you walking in the rain. You're like a squirrel trying to get a nut. A squirrel trying to get a nut because we're walking on eggshell. Somebody said the super rich Germans and their spawns. The super rich don't affect me. The Germans don't affect me, and their spawns don't affect me. You know, I'm not being politically correct or incorrect. If someone is a handicap, they're a handicap. If someone wants to say they're physically challenged, they're physically challenged. If someone wants to somewhat get the super rich and the oligarchs to control you and make them become a boogeyman, well, that's for you. That's for persons to be. Enough of the old school men turn corrupt because they're unmarried and bitter. You can be sent. Why? Listen, I always say this all the while, and I've been censored on TikTok, on thingy there. What's the platform called? Um, Instagram. And this was during the course of the time when they had the vax, and I didn't even say anything, but people were talking, people were having that conversation, ladies and gentlemen. Please, what are you drinking? Tell me what you're drinking, guys. Make sure you have a drink and join the drink with me as well. It's important that you have a drink. Yeah. I shrug. Yes, definitely she's scaremongering. I mean, I listen to her. Somebody said, no, you can't be censored on this platform. Listen, I do not own this platform. I'm just a visitor on this platform. If TikTok is over there, or Instagram is over there, and YouTube is over there, and Facebook is over there. You know, the other day, now let me finish that point here. The other day, someone on TikTok said, you are saying things and we're gonna shut you down, right? We're gonna shut you down. And I was saying, what did I say? And I went back and said, I mentioned foxes, I mentioned dogs, I mentioned walking in the park. And why is he shutting me down? And then somebody said to me, this is what somebody said. Yeah, I'll delete this platform immediately. Challenge. And then somebody said to me, Silburn, actually look at the author of it. And I realized, and they said, it is actually not from TikTok. It's actually from some person or so. And I realized, and I blocked it. Like this, like this. Let's like it. Let's like the TikTok, because I like the TikTok as well. Because I'm actually going to go into. We're getting into somewhere. We're getting into somewhere. I think this is good. Yeah, you can't censor wealthy man. I will delete this platform immediately if challenged. That's what people say. I will delete this platform. Listen, guys, listen. I think it is okay to say that you're gay or you're not gay, to say you're homosexual or you're not homosexual. It is whereby the problem, I believe, is when you start to actually having a go at the persons and not accepting that people are different. That's where I believe the problem lies. You know, that's where the problem lies. Do you know in the US they even added new word to the dictionary during the COVID crisis? Yeah, yeah. I added a new word in the dictionary when I was in Jamaica, and the word is called forky bus. You know, forkibus is the word. Man, a guy named Arthur Smith, we added this word. I don't think it's in the dictionary now, but we just created a word. We created a word because guess what? Everybody's creating things. You know what I mean? We just create words, and the word was forkibus. And forkibus could mean anything. Me and Arthur Smith, article Smith. We are created our signature. He helped me to create my signature. You know. Listen, guys, one can speak. You know, one can speak um, with respect to persons, right? I've The only time I've ever been shut down was that time on Instagram, and I never forget it. I felt like a hand came into the screen and actually somehow shut it down because someone was talking about. Well, we were talking about the vaccination, and we are talking about all of these things, and we were saying we were not supportive of it, and because I'm also what you call a pure blood, because I didn't support it, you know, and it was not anything secret. I consider myself a pure blood. I didn't want to be um, infected or injected or anything like that. Many people likewise, and they call us the champions. That's why they call us. We are the champions. We are the champions. But hey, that's not to disrespect other persons who don't think like you. Not to disrespect persons who have a different religious persuasion, not to disrespect someone who have a different political persuasion. We all have to work together. And one of the things that frees my mind, ladies and gentlemen, and this is something you need to do. Take a walk in the park in the morning, right? Take a walk in the park in the morning, and you hear lots of birds, making noise. They're coexisting. Foxes run past you. I got some foxes in my back garden there. 6 of them, or sometimes I see them. I don't see them for a while now. Coexisting. Butterfly. Everyone coexisting. Right? And we realize that we all, we all actually don't think the same way. Yeah. My park is in the UK, London, in Beckenham Place Park. Actually, I walked barefooted the other day. Actually, I did walk barefooted. I took off my shoes, took off my socks, and I stood next to a tree, and I got the toxins in. It's on TikTok. I'm gonna actually I'm gonna try to see if I can download it. Yeah, I'm gonna show it as evidence. As a matter of fact, the evidence, Ashraf, the evidence that I was standing around in the park barefooted, getting in some lections or whatever. Yes, yes, you challenged me, Ashraf, and I did it. You know, and somebody wrote about it as well. You know, so the point I'm trying to say, ladies and gentlemen, you know, is that you you can't say these words. You can't say these words on YouTube. Yeah, yeah. Because I mean, those words which you just mentioned right there, um, there's no need for me to even mention those words. I actually hold a tree. Actually, I was close to the tree. Actually, I was close to the tree. There's no need for me to say those words which you mentioned there. You know, there's no need. And one can even say, and actually, yeah, there are some words relating to terrorism or something like that. What if someone say it, it would trigger something. You know, they may shut you down. And I've never been in this thing called jail. You know, jail. I don't know what is this. People say they were in jail. My virgin Lester said, "I'm always in a jail." Immerse yourself in nature regular, definitely. Hashtag sarcasm is the lowest form of wit. Women love to try to give instruction to black men for validate. Listen, Virgin, Ron, I tell you the truth. You're so correct at times. People always try to correct um black men. Black men, I call you. There's a scripture in the Bible that says, "Men, I call you because you're strong." I'm gonna say, "Black men, I call you because you're strong." Right? As a leader, to stand your ground. Because at the end of the day, if you don't, somebody will. And who will not be to your advantage. I feel powerful because like today I was driving and there's a black lady was crossing the road and going into her car and she had to open her car and I just stopped. Wasn't in a rush, you know. Allowed her to open the car door and go in the car and give her the thumbs up. It was like giving her that security, giving her that space, that moment, when she's trying to get and to do what she's doing, instead of trying to squeeze herself because of weakness, I just stopped and allowed her to actually have that freedom, knowing that I'm blocking the traffic, if anything, and therefore she can do what she can do. Yeah, the small things like that, powerful. You know, women love to give instruction to black men. You know, Weston, how are you, boss? Tell me you're coming in. Are you coming in? Add to the stream. Are you coming in or not? You know, let me see. Can't unmute your guests because they choose to mute. Virgin, how are you doing? If if you want to come into the show, they put me in Facebook jail all the time. Weston, let me know if you want to come in. Send me a message, yeah, or Instagram message me or something like that. Let me just move you because um they put you in Facebook jail. Why they put you in Facebook jail? What is Facebook jail? Um, okay, I know what is Facebook jail, but what did you say? Has anyone ever been in Facebook jail before? Instagram, TikTok, Facebook? Has anyone ever been in Facebook jail? When you're in jail, what did you do? Yeah. What did they say to you when you're in jail? What did they feed you with? You know? You see, why I say that there, what they feed you with, is I'm actually bringing up a point to say this. Sorry, Michelle, I'm going to say it. Why do you say, or why do people say they are in jail? Yeah. Why do people say they are in jail? Because if you're in jail, you're being controlled. You're being told what to do, when to do, how to do, where to go. Why would you say that you're in jail? And words and things control us. I don't know where my show is going today, but I'm just interacting. I believe it's best to just interact and just go with a particular flow. Yeah. Where? Where do we words are created by people, and people create these words to control somehow, for you to actually be yeah, to control you. I would say to control you to a certain extent. A lot of people struggle with English language and English, and in turn they use emotions. Yeah, you know, there's a song which used to be sung in Jamaica. I don't know if they sing it anymore, because I burn fire upon it in a way. I don't burn fire upon it. I don't say those things, but a song go like, "Don't put your hat where you can't reach it. Don't put your hat where you can't reach it." And when I thought about it after a while, when I came to my senses and came to understand things around me, that putting your hat where you can't reach it is actually the best place to put it. Put your hat where you can't reach it. Because if you put your hat where you can't reach it, yeah, guess what? If you put your hat where you can't reach it, what are you gonna do? You're gonna find ways how to get that hat. You're gonna climb, you're gonna step up on someone, you're gonna find different ways to reach it. And it makes you, it gives you that drive and that why. Why do you want to go up there? Because my hat is up there. Don't put your hat, you know. And when you listen to this, and guys, this is really motivation. Listen to this. Don't put your hat where you can't reach it. Don't put your hat where you can't reach it. What is the operative and key word there? Or what is the key word that I picked up there? Tell me what you can, what the word that I found there when I was listening, when it freed me, was another word, your. Don't put your hat, or you. Don't put, if it is yours, you must get it back. You must find it. Don't put your, right? And when you come to the realization of words, and our words can break you or make you, then you're free and you're ready to aspire and climb to the highest height. And then you reach, as Rowan said. You just can't comment on other people's posts. Yes, Silver, we know words are spells. Just a joke when we say Facebook. But no, but Michelle, on a serious note, I know we use it, but actually people hold it. It controls people. Listen, during the course of the COVID period, yeah? During the course of the COVID period, what were 4 words? There are 4 words being used in the COVID period. 4 words. Yeah. 4 words. What were these 4 words being used? Anyone can tell me what were these 4 words that they were using a lot during the COVID period that controlled people, that people now are still susceptible to, right? The first one is lockdown. Lock down. Lock down. When you hear lockdown, what do you think? What does it conjure up? Lock down, right? You're locked down. That was a word which was powerful. And don't get me wrong, I understand the process of it. I understand the rationale. I understand the reasoning why they did it. But a lot of people are still suffering from some of these terms. The next second one was quarantine, where you separated yourself from people. I understand where you're coming from, but a lot of people were challenged by that quarantine. And then the next one was shielding, you know, don't want to go there, shielding, protecting. I understand. But what I did to counteract all of that was going into the park, free myself, talking to people. You put on your mask or you speak at a good distance away. And then the other one was there was quarantine, lockdown, shield, and the other one was what was the fourth one? There's a fourth one: quarantine, lockdown, shield. What was the fourth one? What was the fourth one? It just slipped me a while ago. Come on, Michelle. What was the fourth? What was the fourth word? There's a fourth one. Fact check. No, fact check. What was the fourth one? Quarantine, shield, lockdown, isolation. Yeah, isolate. Where you need to isolate yourself. Isolate. And right now, a lot of people are still in that zone because they're isolating themselves. Don't get me wrong, it's good working from home. You spend time with your family more, quality of life. But the quality of life, somewhat, there could be an expense. It could be to a detriment because you're not able to actually interrelate, have social intercourse with people. You know, we're all people. We're supposed to be engaging. You know, the women love joke at men's freedom and expense. When women are challenged, they say they are making jokes. Okay, Ron, I think you want to do a program on women and men, isn't it? Do you want to do a program on that? I tend not to do those programs, um, and you know, and especially being married for going to 22 years, August the 4th, 22 years. So I tend not to go into some of these discussions a lot. Is it 22 years? Yes. 2001, August the 4th. Yeah. 2001, September 11th, just before September 11th, coming back to the UK. You know, it's a challenge, ladies and gentlemen. You know, we have some honorable institution that God gave us, you know, and what we believe in, we've got to lay hold of it, seize it, and control it, and don't let it actually um, be marred by a minority who somehow says we have evolved. We have evolved. So because we have evolved, certain things that we believe in, we do not believe in them anymore. Can you imagine, going back to your parents and saying to them some new things that you have learned, and during a time when they were rearing you, or with your brought up say, as I say in Jamaica, your brought up say, they were the epitome of society. They were the top dog. Always say sometimes that the best mentor should be your parents, people and people within your community. Those should be the best mentor. Not just somebody that you see from afar on some screen, playing a movie. And then when they fall short, guess what? You fall as well. Your hope has gone because these persons that you're looking up to are not what they purport to be. Or rather, that these persons or anybody and everyone have closets. And within these closets, they have, what should I say? Skeletons. Good friend of mine said recently when Edwards issue came out recently. This is a BBC presenter, and we'll just talk on that briefly. He said he came out long time ago. He came out from his mother. And I said to him, I also came out from my mother a long time before, But the interesting thing, and let's talk on this one briefly. You guys must have known that Edwards, the top dog presenter in the UK. I would say the top dog of the presenter of presenters. Anytime something big is going to go down, they call for you, Edwards. When the Queen is dead, you, Edwards, come in. When they're going to have this show like the coronation, they call you, Edwards. Anything big, they call you, Edwards. So you, Edwards, was a top guy. And of course, when he's on his program, it's not a play thing. It's serious stuff. So his craft is very crafted. You know. However, the Sun exposed him. His private life, as far as I'm concerned, his private life. His private life. I'm sure that many persons here, many persons at the sound of my voice, do have a private life. I would not want their thing to be in the papers. But the point I'm trying to say is that I'm sure that a lot of people look up to you, Edwards. A lot of people look up to him. A lot of people look up to many people who have fallen short. And because they have fallen short, it has somewhat messed them up as well. Because they were the man, they were the top dog. But what is that saying? That is actually saying that, yes, I believe that you can look up to someone within their craft, but always recognize this, that they're actually fallible. Always recognize that these persons somewhat can fall, but be very focused on their craft. Because all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. As a matter of fact, you, Edward, should have come out and start to write in the sand. All of you guys calling him out or something like that and say, let's come out. I was saying to myself at one point, why are some of the reporters or the top presenters is saying you, Edwards, need to come out, or the BBC presenter need to come out? Why are they saying that? If you have nothing to worry about, why? Come on, ask this question. If you didn't do anything wrong, would there be any pressure on you? Okay, there's pressure because the medias or the different people are calling out and say, who is this media house guy? Who is this presenter? Blah, blah, blah. And all of them want to separate themselves. Stop working. Persons who are not working, well, or wasn't going to be around, or maybe on their holidays, start to come out and say it's not me. But why? Why there's a need to come out and say something? I think why there's a need. I think why some of them are coming out. I believe that in this country, to a certain extent, with the advent of Jimmy Savile's and the pedophilia and the perversion, to a certain extent, I wouldn't be surprised if the spotlight was about to be shine on other persons, and the pressure was getting to them, if anything. But that's just a simple speculation. But also, one don't need to know. We don't need to know these things. Okay, but you pay your TV license. We pay TV license in the UK. Why do we pay TV license? Can you imagine paying TV license to watch TV? Many people I know don't watch BBC. Some people are saying you don't have to pay it. But people are saying, I need to know about this because I'm paying my TV license, I'm paying my tax, and of this 35,000 which is being used to send to underage person, actually, one don't know if it was a male or female. 35,000 of my taxpayers' money. It's not your taxpayers' money anymore. The deal is that this person worked for the BBC service. Once he's paid, that's his money. Now, if BBC had paid it, that's where the problem is. If BBC had paid that money over, now that becomes taxpayers' money. And it is sad. It is sad. I'm grateful to his wife, actually. It is sad. But his wife came out and said he has mental health issues. But it is sad because I'm sure that no one would want their name to be dragged in the mud. And the police has come out now to say they're not going to press any charge. Police have come out now and say they're not going to press any charge. Now you ask yourself the question, now what was that all about? What was that all about? But at the same time, people are saying, you know, the wrong thing that he did shouldn't have been indulged. The word pedophilia existed years ago, years before I know what pedophile means. Growing up in Jamaica, going on buses, going to school, bus drivers, talking to little girls, And when I thought about it for a certain extent, when I left high school, I was about 15 or 16 or so, 15, yeah. And then if these bus drivers or persons coming to pick up these young girls was the same age as me, then guess what? Ready for it? I'm going to tell you what it's going to be. If they were actually coming to pick up young girls, what would you call them? What would you call them? What words we didn't know before? Let's go! Pedophiles. Pedophile, you call them, if it was in the UK. Pedophiles. They were pedophiles. Never knew about this until one came to the UK. But it's deemed to be acceptable. Deemed to be acceptable. Big man and little girl, them. Now it is big man and little boys. Now it is big women and big little girls. Now it is big women and little boys. Not just man anymore. Now that's where we say, Ashrag, it is politically correct. That's where we say it's politically correct in a sense, whereby you don't just say it's only, hey, Natalia, it's not just saying it's only men, but also women as well, in the whole frame of things, So that's a very interesting thing. So thanks for bringing that bit up there, ladies and gentlemen. But I've got a busy day tomorrow, so I'm not going to stay long. We'll finish about next few minutes. But I want to thank you so much for joining. And as I said, one of the things that I was looking at really, and I just got something from Jamaica, because there's a big what should I say, competition, a debating competition which is going on in Jamaica, which is going to be for education. And this has to do with the Jamaica discussion regarding constitution. Let me see if I can find Rosalie email. Yeah. Where is it? Dun. Download. The proposal for constitutional reform on the road to Republic Jamaica. And what it says, the Advocates Network joined the constitutional reform discussion through historical lens, shaped by the journey of our ancestors since the arrival of Columbus in 1494. Parliamentary versus presidential republic. This is very good. There's been much discussion nationally. I got a document here. This is powerful. Hey, how are you, Marcepin? Necessary constitutional changes. Supremacy and sovereignty provisions. Really good. Restructure of the parliament. The House of Representatives should be designed to undertake 4 key roles. 1, the legislative function of the government, the executive function of the government, oversight of the executive function, and importantly, organize and facilitate public petitioning of the legislators. The importance of this right to petition for enhancing democracy is discussed. Yep. Establish, appreciate oversight committees of the House. So what you're seeing is that the advocacy network is taking it further, setting it out some of the challenges or some of the things that they want to see. In the new Jamaica. Are you ready for a new Jamaica? Who's looking for a new Jamaica? And what it says here is that the Senate should be elected to undertake 5 key roles. Elected, ladies and gentlemen. The legislative function of the government, provide oversight of the executive function, ensure the protection of minority rights, organize and facilitate public petitioning of the legislators, and 5, appointment, discipline, and removal of senior government officials and elected instead of appointed Senate in a democracy. Yep. Goes further. A Jamaican president as head of state, they break it down, should be appointed to undertake the 4 main roles. 1, vest the executive power of the parliament. Assent to legislation with provision to scrutinize legislation. Appoint key government officials, members of service commission, and 4, to carry out other specific functions. Define the constitution. Nomination should be made from the House, and the appointment should be 2/3 majority of the House and Senate. Strengthen citizen rights through petitioning. It's a powerful document here, ladies and gentlemen. I like this one. Recall petitions, ladies and gentlemen. Recall petitions. This is where this seeks to ensure that MPs act in the interest of their constituencies. The 1991 Stone Committee report proposed giving voters the power to recall MPs who violate a code of conduct or fail to perform other specific duties. Now, it's interesting they mentioned about violate the code of conduct, but one can only violate a code of conduct if one sign up to the code of conduct. Am I correct? You can only violate what you sign up to. Well, I'm talking specifically to the code of conduct. And so far, none of the government members from the prime minister down, and I could be corrected, I stand to be corrected. As a matter of fact, let me go to a message which I received from a top person in Jamaica and see if I can break it down. I know that all or most of the PNPs signed up. Yes, let me see. They signed up to the code of conduct, the 7 principles. Their name is all there. I mentioned it last week. Now, what we need to find out is if this has been changed and if it has been added with members of the government side. And I'm looking at it now. There are 22 names. 22 names of persons who have subscribed to leadership committee to code of conduct. And they're all opposition. All opposition. I show it to you. It's always good to show things. Share screen. Code of conduct. Leadership committee. There it is. From Mark Golden, number 1, straight down to 22. Miss Joyce Denise Daly, MP, member, opposition, shadow cabinet, June the 10th, 2023. Signed the document. She signed the document. Lisa Anna Michael Phillips, Senator Donaldson Scott Monthly. No member No member, ladies and gentlemen. Yep. No member of the present government have signed the code of conduct. The 7 principles of public life. I think that's a shame. But as my good friend said, yeah, it don't make no sense them sign it. You know what I'm saying? It don't make no sense them sign it. Because they're big people and them have it already. But what is wrong with simple signing the 7 codes of conduct? And the document which let me stop sharing it. Where is it? We know 15 of them are being 15 of who are being investigated from the 22. 15 have been investigated. That's interesting. "15 of the 20." I mentioned 22 persons from the opposition side signed up to the code of conduct. You know, because my thing is that how can you investigate persons who have not signed up to it? Think about that for a second. Yeah, how can you investigate persons who have not signed up to it? Because in the document by Rosalie, by the team, where is it? Integrity Commission there. Let me see. Leadership commitment. Let me take that away. The document by Rosalie Hamilton. The document says that they seek to ensure that MPs act in the interest of their constituents. Yeah. Report on the right to recall non-performing MPs. That's correct. But if they have not signed up to it, yeah, how can they actually, you know, how can they? I don't understand that. You understand what I'm trying to say? How can they? Okay.
They just arrested one of those people from the weather. What we call them again? That person, because remember it's 15 politicians that they're investigating and 27 public servants. So they just arrested you call them where's the number? Well, the people who work custom officer. The person that put forward, they found that the person had 17 different bank accounts.
Are you talking immigration officer or MPs?
The immigration officer, that person had 17 different bank accounts from the one that they fronted.
From
so
pickup. Yeah.
They have arrested that person. Now what they're doing is they're finding out that even with the many investigations of persons who are having a lot of trucks that are working with the backside company, they're collecting money from that. They're working on MPM, a lot of trucks on the garbage, a lot of trucks that are doing garbage business that belong to politicians, all kind of things. So those are the persons they're investigating. Same kind of thing where they're finding improprieties in terms of monies and accounts, but they haven't called the politicians name, but they have arrested this person here in the week.
And are you talking those green trucks? Sorry, am I being facetious? I mean, it was in the papers, isn't it?
The green trucks, and they are seeing where contracts have been awarded, and they're investigating all of this, and how some U.S. currency, within COVID time, somebody's U.S. currency amount had increased 5 folds.
Uh,
Have been our illustrious. His name was called for that. The PM, and I'm saying that what they don't understand is that they said in the COVID time, the US thing had increased fivefold. So if he had $1 million US before pre-COVID, post and during COVID, it had gone fivefold up, right? So, but what they don't know is that, and what they don't realize is that many the thing came out that I told you to ask Mr. Patterson, but I'm sure they didn't ask him, where they tell you that prior to COVID even being talked about or released, these persons, governments knew about it, and then actually taking out bonds on this whole COVID thing. I mean, this is a joke. This is a joke. This is stressful. It's a pain. It's like you're not in a real place. It's not a real place. But you find out all that is happening, and to know that it's not just limited to Jamaica.
so it's a bangarang.
You know? It's a big bang around that they all, I mean, well, they all had to, as far as I'm told. Who didn't want to was unalived, you know, like the Haitian president. He would not give into it and whatever. So he was unalived, and his wife came back to Haiti, trying to get into politics after she was in a place when he was being unalived. So it's all a plot, it's all conspiracy everywhere. Everybody is being deemed and seen as guilty of something, and there's a lot of hidden agendas, and it becomes scary. I tell you, you spoke about Andre and his platform, and the other day, about a week or two ago, because I didn't really watch him very much, but I've started watching him now. And he did a thing where he was talking about informing the PM at the time. He was that there was a plot against him within the party, and he talked about that all night. And he called up some names, and he spoke of some things, and he talked about homosexuality, and names were alluded to. And I became so scared. I was so afraid for him, I was so afraid for him because of all the information he was putting out. Because remember, he was there.
Yes.
But as far as telling you that the threat was so real. Remember this threat some time ago?
Yeah.
That the PM had said was against him. Yeah, the threat was so real.
Really?
And he said, remember. Yeah, he said, remember it's me and you and Shahini, Auntie Shahini, rest his soul, and whoever. Remember some PNP headquarters that we went? And you called your wife and told her to come now, leave the place now. And at PNP headquarters, they stayed. Where no one would have looked for them. So there was a threat that was in real time. And he was doing he was canvassing, I think, politically, and two particular persons withdrew the money from him. They were not supporting him anymore. So that would have been the Portland man and the doctor and the health minister. They withdrew him, called names, so not him, because he called names. They withdrew the packages, and they had to call a particular man, and that man did whatever. I mean, so I was so scared for him. Because remember, he would have intricate details, because he said he was at the meeting when they were plotting against him to do whatever and to not make him become whatever. So he was really pro the PM. So he made sure he called her on and he said, where are you? We need to hear this. They're plotting against you and all of that jazz. And, that's why he says he wants his partner draw. Because he did so much to keep him where he's at and made him prime minister by working and getting information from, the divide that wanted him out or didn't want him as PM, so.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it is, that's why I typed earlier on, divisions and unease is present in both. Both. Remember three parish councilmen
resign, yes.
They resigned the other day.
Did they
And we
res-
must say them step over now.
hold on,
And
hold on.
they ousted.
Sorry, I know they resigned. You said they joined the Labour Party. Is that
They
what you said?
stepped over. They stepped over because they actually also ousted the mayor. Because when they stepped over and they voted the mayor and ousted the mayor, who was a PNP mayor, they ousted him last week.
Oh wow.
It was rough. It came. It was all over the quarrel in the parish council, and who was saying shut up, where, and they ousted him, and the PNP came out talking about it. So they stepped over into the other side, and they voted a no confidence vote, and because they added to it, then they were able to forcefully oust him.
Oh wow.
Right?
Hmm.
Yeah. So all this is happening. It's just been this week. It's just been this week that all of these things are happening.
So what is coming through? What is coming through? Leading up to any election is that well, I mean, from the PNP side, there been so much division between themselves, isn't it?
No,
Is that
this way
or
the divide is not as because when I saw that remember Mark is supposed to be a riser, right? And when I saw an endorsement coming from particular persons who were on the other side, one PNP, so they have now come together and endorsed. So that's why the councillors resigned, because they said that Mark was a riser and they were tearing the party apart, and now they have given him this. They don't want to be under him, and they were saying that he was a white man, and how can you have a sugar plantation owner or a slave?
Master G. What is it?
Master Mark, yes, they went on with that. And it was so disappointing to know that, so I wonder who is really true. Because you have been counselors for this party for all those years. And then I normally don't trust the people who decide to slide over it.
Yeah.
I normally don't trust them. And I don't think who take them trust them very much either.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna trust them. They're just gonna keep them there.
To get more information.
Yes.
That's what they take them for.
Keep your enemies closer. Yeah. Keep your enemies closer.
Keep your enemies closer, right?
Yeah. What about this? Yeah. What about this thing with Haitians in Jamaica? There, the Haitians, have they gone back? Or are they keeping? Or they're still gonna be kept?
They're getting house and food and everything. Everybody's leaking out because actually I saw about 5 bloggers on TikTok who one had actually said something some time ago. One had actually said something. He predicted something long before this happened. I remember him saying it, and he's saying that they are going to bring people into the country who are going to come and cut you apart, dissect you, and so we keep people. And then he actually came the other day and I said, when I talk some things and tell me, say, lie me, I tell. These whole 37 persons really coming on a boat like that. Nobody died. The boat is so small. They said, listen, this is just a way that they were brought in and then this was fronted and they entered like that. That's fine. They took them and they said they're housing them. They're going to give them places to stay. They can't get work. They have they give them the go ahead to stay. And about 5 or 6 baggers are saying it's a ploy. These people are not easy and they are criminals because they're saying they're going to investigate them, and like they're saying, how do you investigate people in here to know with the condition of what's happening with duty, right?
Yeah.
So it's all of this and all of that. So I don't know. You just have to keep your ears close to the ground, listen and try to discern and try to pick sense out of nonsense.
But what do you think about I pick it up that I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but do you see Jamaica right now is on a election footing?
Okay, it has started, but this is something I've been saying to people from like December, January. Remember, we're supposed to have the parochial things in February. That was the last constitution. It was due then. No, the time after that would be out of the constitution, but they put it off and said no. Right.
That's a local government election.
I remember I said I've been saying to people from that time before and with all the constitutional rewrite, and I've been saying to them, they're moving assiduously with this thing, and there is nobody there who really represents us to see what is happening, what is really going on. We don't know. They have these little sham town hall meetings, as they call them, and they have particular people who they choose to ask particular questions.
You think so? You think so? You think so?
Yeah. Initially, when it just started, a couple of persons really went up and tried to rock the boat, but I think that after that, they said, we need to get to. Okay, so we're going to Waterhouse. We need to get to people in Waterhouse to say, select 2 people, because the last couple of times they posed some questions and we couldn't even answer. We had to put it off and say, okay, we'll contact this, I will contact that. So for me, my thing was, and I've been saying this from December coming up, that with what is happening worldwide, and I think it was said in England too by someone, and that further convinced me the other day when I heard this person say that I'm not looking for another election before we are plugged into where we are supposed to be. I really am not, because it is 2024 that this election would be, right? 2024. And I really am not looking for another election. These people are moving and they're doing things fast, and everything is being. And remember now we have. So I think maybe, and I hope they don't, because I think they're gonna get kickbacks. Remember, they said COVID is here again.
COVID. COVID
have died, and I saw this thing.
COVID come back again. They say in Jamaica.
This 15 person died. That's what they say.
Yeah.
I saw this 15 person dying from about a month ago.
Yeah.
Said COVID, 15 persons have died from COVID, and now Muslim bring it back again this week. Now, 15 persons have died. I'll tell you what happened. I went to the university hospital about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
When I went, I noticed that doctors and everybody had on masks, which they had done away with
for a period
for months now. So when I went in, I was to talk to the doctor. I had to put on a mask. So I'm there talking to the doctor, and I said to her, "This mask didn't come back from." I'm gonna start talking about what I know I'm talking about, and she said, "Where you get all this information from? Oh, you know so many things, and I've been so and so. Can I get your number, and can you add me to your whatever? Because what you're saying, I can tell you, I can say some things, and I won't say some things. But what you said is exactly true, and I knew it was gonna come, because we spoke about. I was watching the signs. I watched that from about a month or 2 ago. They said 15 persons have died from it, and the same 15 persons died since this week. When the minister spoke about it again. Casually mentioned it in Parliament, and the doctors came out again like before. New doctor now, because they were the older doctors that have said that, well, I can't go through this again.
Yes.
This is disingenuous, and I can't, because nothing has been happened, right? So new doctors are coming out now saying that the university is not packed, it's crammed with COVID patients and whatever. So all people, I'm telling you what's happening on TikTok. People are saying, try this again now. How with this again? The better plan to shoot it on, because no more lockdown on one. People are resilient. They're not going to be put down to this lockdown to knowing what they know now. So there's going to be a kickback. It's going to be problematic. It's going to be problematic.
Okay.
To bring back.
Okay.
To bring back.
Yeah.
Okay. Right
okay.
now.
Just one more point before I go. I will be busy day tomorrow. Quick one. The Prime Minister in the UK. And I mentioned about the fact that the new public sector increase 5 to 7% for 1 million public sector workers is going to come from migrants, going to come from the surcharge. This is something which is used for NHS. What's your take on that?
I gave you my take the other day when I was typing in the thing.
Yeah.
Because remember, I said to you, is that illegal migrants and illegal ones who come to work are going to fund.
It's gonna be legal migrants. Because the illegal migrants wouldn't be able to have the surcharge. But go ahead until they become go ahead.
Yeah, but are they giving them some kind of amnesty, and they're probably gonna have to pay for this now too?
No,
that's what's happening in USA now. You're giving the amnesty.
Yeah. No, once they kick over, once the once the asylum seeker get regularized, and then
Right.
they start to maybe get into the system, and they stay and blah blah blah, and normally there's a 10-year period from they get it for them to get their indefinite leave, and during the course of that
10 years? Okay.
yeah, and in the course of that time, every every 2 years, I believe, according to a young lady I was speaking to, they've got to pay for this surcharge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and as my good friend was saying the other night, he believe it's fair because at the end of the day, the British public, they use the NHS because they pay taxes. Um,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I'm example for myself. My two children were born at Lewisham Hospital. Um, my second child was a water birth, and the place was just, the only money spent, I can tell you, was to park, was to park my car, and to dash across there, and so I'm grateful to the NHS, I must say, but of course that is because you're paying your tax. So what they're saying now, if people come to the UK in droves and they're going to use the NHS, the burden is and the pressure is going to put on them as well. So the prime minister is actually saying now the surcharge is going to be increased, visa application is going to increase to somehow put that back into the system, because if they were going to borrow the money, or if they were going to use taxpayers' money for the UK, then it will be deemed to be a bit not fair, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
so that's
So
very
so
yeah.
so so that you put that thing up and I shared it because one thing I was saying, I hope that people who are planning this have the information and know all of this. So when I saw that you had a thing that you had made, I shared it.
Yeah.
I sent to a couple of people because sometimes people would even not know exactly what they're going into. So I said it was good that you had done that.
Yeah.
You, so the thing where you had three other persons on a platform and you were talking about it.
Yes.
I don't know if one of them was the man from the FBI or the Feds thing. One of them was that.
No. One was from one does wills, and the other was a retired um um project manager guy there, Anthony. There was Anthony who was very adamant and adamant on the fact that you know it need to be resolved, especially with the whole issue regarding the boat people which are coming across from different countries as they come to the UK, because the UK is housing lots of people, millions they're spending per day. So it is something that just need to be addressed, because people are leaving where they are from for economic issues, for you know war, torn, and all those sort of things, and it is to find a way. But it's so interesting that Jamaica at the same time um, is also experiencing the same thing, whereby people are coming for a better life. It's not just for the, huh?
I tell you, these 37 people, they better know them other because people are watching them. People don't trust it.
They don't trust
There's a
them.
trusting in Jamaica right now. There's a trust in Jamaica right now. Nobody not trust anything at all that our prime minister says or does. Everything is being scrutinized, put on. I mean, they're using a fine tooth comb to dissect and look at everything. Them get them telescope and the microscope, and they are looking and they're trying to see the pros and the cons and even when it exists.
Where they come? Where did they land? In Portland or St. Thomas?
In Portland.
Not St. Thomas.
No, Portland. I mean, one person made a blog and said, why would I have for these? Why couldn't one of them come with a job? So I'm gonna get some jobs to start in good life.
Yeah.
I couldn't get some jobs with them.
Yeah.
But I mean, if we just live and so on, because people are customer say how many persons are here who don't live nowhere and who want places. That's like what's happening in England and America and Canada. And you are putting up, because Canada is not, especially Toronto, they say it's now called tent city. The amount of persons in Toronto who are living in tents.
Is it?
Right? Yeah. So people out here are constantly the amount of persons who need help to get housing here, pick up them people here. Not about them, but what you put them in a house and you regularize them and whatever. And people really at that.
Yeah. Well, listen. I'm going to put out a couple more videos, look up clips on the same particular bit there, Ashrag, because I believe it is very helpful. Because I think I know of a couple teachers, or I think I know of a teacher or so was planning to come, and when they work out the whole figures and everything, they just decided and say, you know, make no, you know, make no sense. You know what I mean? You know, and that's the thing. Hello, huh? Sorry,
You can't have what
what me say? What me say? What me say?
it don't make no sense.
You know, me say it right, innit? I know, you know, make no sense.
No?
Huh?
Well, okay.
It don't make sense, innit? It don't make no sense, you know.
Somebody's saying hi to you.
Sorry.
Somebody's saying hi to you. Somebody's saying hello to you.
Okay, okay. Oh, Hilda. Hello, hello, Hilda. Hi. Good evening. How are you? Um, you know. But yeah, yeah. I'll watch your space and see. But one thing I noticed though, regarding in Jamaica is that the prime minister is going around and saying all these achievements, like he's just up and down, him up and down, man.
Because he's the face of the party. Party have no other ministers. No other minister no exist in that party right now. So what people are telling him is that it's not gonna be like the Clark's time. We sing through you now, we know you now, you're wicked now. Then come on, they're hitting him hard. Somebody said, just put up a post on it. When I read the post, I said, and my comment was, no man, if this man took up, because it was actually on his thing that he put up. And the people make some comment and I say, I'm supposed to ball when him read this. I mean, the comments are vicious.
Mm.
The comments are vicious, totally vicious.
Oh
You
wow,
understand?
wow.
What is that? Noble woman. Noble woman.
No, I'm just saying good evening to the person there. I just said a good evening to the person.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
All right. Well, listen.
So,
Stay there. Let me just say. Let me just wrap up on this. Stay there. I'll just wrap up on this bit here. Well, ladies and gentlemen, good evening, and thank you so much for joining the YouTube channel, and those on Facebook and those on YouTube, and join us next week, Saturday night. Have a busy day tomorrow. So peace out, and God bless you. Peace. Bye.